she? It's like the biggest question I have when I'm doing this fight. Where is she? Oh, my renewal's off. It's so hard to see sometimes. Oh, I thought she moved. I thought she died. Where is she? Where is she? There we go.
You dealt with Archon Naira expertly, Tenno.
What if we left this person to die?
No mercy. No redemption.
That would be funny. Yeah, kind of a lengthy fight. Not terrible, especially compared to... Did I? Why was I unarmed? Anyway, especially it's not like terribly long, especially compared to what do you call it? Especially compared to like my other content. Like 12 minutes isn't horrible, you know, just considering the other videos in this series, but it's really boring, so I would rather not include the whole thing. Oh, look at that. 3 Forma, Tau Forged Amber. Very good. So let me give these people a GG, and I'll tell you a bit about this build. I'm so glad I got this Forma. I'm very much in need of Forma. I'm just like using Forma as I build it. So, okay. Let's leave the... Yeah, let's leave. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to talk a bit about this build. It's a very simple build.
If I may say, operator, your chosen warframe suits you. Ha, ha.
Thank you, Wardus. Anyway, so, very simple build. Full Umbral. We got Phoenix Rule, we got Spine Fusion, we got Duration, and we got Strength. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot to explain here. I'm tanky, I got Death Protection, I got a damage buff, well, it's tanky, Death Protection, and 2 damage buffs. And that's basically it. More augmented. I use this build for Archon hunts very consistently, but I don't use it exclusively for Archon hunts, and so when I'm not doing Archon hunts, more augmented is really good. Otherwise, if this is like an Archon hunt exclusive build, which I might actually make another time, well, yeah, I'm probably gonna make that another time. But if this was an Archon hunt exclusive build, oh goodness, probably gonna.
Ordis wonders, what are you thinking?
Here, I'll mute my mic for a second while I fix it. Alright, yeah, my mic is kind of broken right now, so like if I bump into it like I just did, it's not gonna be good. what was I saying? So if it was an Archon Hunt exclusive build, I'd use something else here. Like, I don't know what exactly I would use, but I'll figure that when I'm making that build, which is most likely going to use Zada's Whisper. I'm still working on getting a Zaku, and you know, I'll test out. I'll test stuff out. Um, so yeah, very simple build. Like, not a whole lot to explain here. You can. It's also part of why I didn't want to show the whole Archon Hunt. It's just I'm showing. It would be showing what it's like to be tanky and deal a lot of damage, and arguably suboptimal for the task. So moving on. Oh yeah, I'll also show my Lanka build. Um, Pretty simple here. You could argue that I shouldn't use galvanized mods, but because I'm not really killing things often enough to keep them up, but uh, I think they're technically optimal. Like uh, what was it? Regular split chamber would only really give me like a little bit of multi-shot, especially when I consider uh, the diminishing returns with my Riven here. And it's still like, the base multi-shot doesn't matter as much. And if I do happen to kill something, then I'm also getting some extra multi-shot on top of that. So yeah, I think that's good. And this is, and technically, basically same thing here. It's like, if I kill something, I'm getting more of a boost. Not really something to think about too much. I'm rambling more than I should. So let's just move on to the other build, which is right here. Alright, so this build I think is really cool. The other build was very boring, but I think this is going to be something fun. Like, oh, I should also show you the Archon shards here. So it's all health. Well, all of its health. Now this one, all of it is melee crit damage. Alright, so if you look at my wolf sledge here, it has no crit damage mods, and yet the critical multiplier is at 4.3 times. Now, the funny thing is that it will show in like the stats screen where it's supposed to show the base stats. So you can see it shows us 4.3 times here too. But if I were to switch to a different Oberon and then go back, as you can see, it shows the actual base crit. Let's go back to, which Oberon was I on? Oh yeah, this one. And yeah, so melee crit damage shards, complemented by the Gladiator set here. So 3 Gladiator mods for that 30% crit chance per combo multiplier. So almost as good as having what's it called? Blood Rush. So I mean, I haven't like specifically calculated it, but oh goodness, I haven't specifically calculated it, but this should be like a 70% damage boost because this is like roughly 75% of the boost that Blood Rush gives. So if I'm using it alongside Blood Rush, it should be a 75% damage boost if you consider crit chance to be like a 1-to-1 sort of conversion to damage. which I don't think is, especially when you consider that it's technically additive to the base crit chance and also the crit chance that's on my ribbon. So, like I said, I haven't calculated it, but I'm gonna guess that's gonna be like 70% chance, maybe even like 60% chance. And so it's a nice combo actually. So you get like a 60% boost, and then you get this is definitely like a more direct, like sort of like one-to-one boost when like you look at the numbers. So pretty easy to calculate that this is like a 1.25 times boost, so long as you get a guaranteed crit, which this most certainly does. So I mean, it should be close to, I was gonna say close to triple damage. Actually, yeah, it should be more than triple damage because this is 125, well, plus 125 times damage, right? And then, which would be a total of 225% damage, and then I'm boosting that by about 60% of the 225%. So yeah, that should be well over triple damage from the non-Tau Forged Archon Shards and the Gladiator set here. Let me actually explain the rest of the build here. So I also have the Mecha set and Equilibrium. Both of these are meant to go with my Kubro here. So Mecha set, that's self-explanatory. I'm going to get a whole lot of area of effect with the status that I'm going to inflict. And now the synth mods are going to be supplying me with the health orbs for Equilibrium. Now the cool thing about the synth mods, well, the cool thing about the Mecha set is that the damage from the set bonus, as long as like you have a damage dealing status effect, that is going to activate, what's it called, Synth Deconstruct. Yeah, that is going to trigger Synth Deconstruct. So about a quarter of the enemies that are affected by that damage, which by the way includes the lingering AoE from the gas proc. Let me show you my Wolf Sludge build. So it's gas with boosted duration. So, and when you include the lingering AoE from the gas proc, you know, every enemy that's hit by any of that is going to have that chance to drop a health orb. Now, the Mega Set also has a very nice interaction with status duration. So basically with, you know, I should actually go into a mission and show you. Well, I'll explain it as I, you know, let me finish actually talking about the build before I show that. So, yeah, I get my energy from that. I do get a lot of drain from the low efficiency, so this is kind of important. And yeah, I also have range because I want to actually boost the Nourish AoE. I don't have a lot of strength because I am using Nourish for the viral procs instead of using it for raw damage. But strength is important for both the proc weighting and also it's important for the proc weighting. It's important for the energy restore, and it's also important for both my renewal and hallowed ground. So I think this is a very good amount of strength to be at. I mean, the build would also work well if you were to use Transient Fortitude if you wanna go for this yourself. And maybe you don't want to use Equilibrium or whatever, you could easily like go with like Transient Fortitude here and then Arcane Energize here, but this is just what I found to be just best for my purposes. I should mention that I just don't know what to put here. Like, I don't have a very high ranking Energize. So this isn't particularly useful to me. So I don't know what to put here. I think this is a bit better than it seems because, like, if I remember correctly, it can revive my Kubro. It's not something that comes up often because my Kubro doesn't die often because I'm just dealing so much melee damage all the time. Especially when you add in the Nourish AoE. And so anytime an enemy tries to damage me or my Kubro, they get that stagger. So what was I about to say? So yeah, it just doesn't come up often. Like, you know, my pets don't just take that much damage. So, but yeah, I think when they do, if I trigger that Arcane, it'll just revive my Kubro. So as usual, I'm going to be going on to Circulus. Well, let me check the fissures first. I could do mobile defense. Let's do Circulus, just because this is a really strong build, and so I should really fight the strongest enemies possible. So first thing I need to show you is the whole thing that I'm talking about with the mecha set. So I'm going to activate my renewal, and then I'm going to look out for that. So, couldn't really show it that well there. Let me try to find another enemy. I want to sort of show the status effects stacking. Oh yeah, that's what I want to explain. So basically, what do you call it? When the Mega Set spreads status to an enemy, it's going to give them a stack per second that it affects them. So I mean, I'm just gonna look for an enemy that has one mark so I can show you. I'm just gonna kill things until I find something, I guess. Oh, come on, where is that mark? I don't even want to use my Nourish right now because, like, all the extra damage is going to make it hard to actually show what I'm trying to show. You'll definitely see what I mean when I'm showing it. I thought I saw a mark there. Okay, there we go. So let's look. My goodness. I guess I'm beginning my search again. Okay, there we go. So you see how it's just gaining a stack every second? So yeah, that's what the Mecha Set does. So the original enemy that I killed, it only had one stack of gas, I'm pretty sure. In the Mecha Set, it spread a stack per second that it was actually spreading it. So you can imagine that this is really powerful when you have gas and viral together. also slash, because I have a minus impact driven on my wolf sledge, which leaves a decent amount of slash waiting. And of course, I have boosted status duration. Oh, good enough. Okay, I'm gonna have to pay attention after this. But you know, I have a good amount of slash waiting on this too. So yeah, it's just really powerful. So what generally happens is if I'm like here long enough, as enemies get tougher, it kind of scales with them. Like it's not truly scaling damage, but like enemies need to basically be able to survive in order to increase the damage output. So it's like it doesn't quite reach full power unless enemies are at a certain amount of strength. So in that sense, it's kind of scaling damage, and it's an absurd level of damage at its maximum. So yeah, what will often happen is that, you know, I'll have a certain amount of melee kills. Like I'll be using my melee the whole time. I'll have a certain amount of melee kills, but then my total kills will be a whole lot higher because so many enemies are dying to the mecha set, which technically counts towards my crew bros kills. So yeah, let's see. I have. Ooh, did someone boost my speed? Oh, the bolts. Okay. Oops. This isn't the most tanky build, so I can't carelessly let myself get hit by these things. Not by the lasers, definitely. Oh, there goes Operator. One thing I love about this is heavy attack efficiency. So, you know, I could just heavy explosion for some big damage if I need to. I can also do that for big damage, so it's just spreading that stacking status. Okay. So yeah, it just spreads that stacking status. It's sometimes better than just attacking the enemy that I want to kill directly. Not even sometimes better, I would say it's like pretty much always better. So let's see, I got half of my blessing boost. Once I'm at full blessing boost, I'm decently tanky. Like, it's definitely not my tankiest build, but you know, it's like, it's sufficient. Let's see, is there anything else I wanted to explain here? Look at that, I love... See, that's kind of the problem with the explosion. It's just... It's like, you see how these enemies, they didn't, like, have, like, status before I hit them? It's like, you know, kind of like what I said in my Bio Rush video. You know, enemies are just killed, are just instantly killed by the raw damage. They're not going to spread the status because it doesn't technically count as them having a status effect. You know, they spread the status that they have when they die. They don't spread the status that's inflicted to them when they're hit. You know, that's the difference. So, yeah, it's kind of a shame that if you do too much damage, you just don't get the full potential. But I guess sort of lines up with how you don't get the full status stacking if you don't, well, the enemies can't really survive. Which I'm not saying is like good design-wise or anything, I'm just You know, I'm pretty neutral about it. It's not a big deal, but it's just, you know, it's a bummer. But yeah, I quite love this build. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you the fashion. Like, you know, it's kind of my usual color scheme. I don't really have the lavender on it, but um, I have some white on here, and I think it's quite nice. I think it kind of gives, like, I don't know, that's a sort of, what's it called? Like, it reminds me a lot of sort of the past Paradox Pokemon. So like Roaring Moon, for example, like like it kind of reminds me. So like almost like a past Paradox Oberon, I guess. Almost like that. It's not quite the same, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. Oh, one thing I wanted to say about Nourish is I have one big problem with Nourish, which is the fact that it can be overridden by Nourish's higher strength. Now, thankfully, it's kind of miraculous in this case, but thankfully it's not being overridden here. If that guy has more limited, then that might change at some point in the run, but basically I'm using this for I'm using Nourish for the viral parts, like I said, which is why I have range on it. Which is why I have range, and it's also why I don't particularly have high strength, because like it's meant to complement the other status effects that I have on the build. So like I have a gas build here, it's meant to complement the gas. It's not like a raw damage build. So you know, too much fire was definitely going to decrease its effectiveness. So if someone has a higher strength Nourish, it's not only going to dilute my status to an undesirable extent, but it's also going to prevent me from spreading status by the explosions as much as I want to. And another thing that is, what is going on here? Is there a Thrax like in this? Wow. There's always something. My goodness. There's always something interesting in these videos. So I'm gonna say, so not only that, but I'm also going to get like less status spreading from Nourish. So why can't I use my renewal? My goodness. Maybe I should just end the video. Okay, well, I'll finish saying what I was going to say, and I'm going to end the video here. I'm going to get less status spreading from my Nourish, and like Nourish is also like my crowd control to an extent. It's like when I get hit, you know, like it staggers the enemies. I wish I could show that now, but yeah. So like it staggers the enemies. Wait, is it working? Nope. So like when I get hit, it will stagger the enemies, which is good for my survivability, especially with my Kubrow. As you saw, my Kubrow has Protect because it's a Roxa Kubrow. I think that's what the breed's called. Nice. Yeah, so it's a rock Sakura. So, you know, so basically enemies hit me, right? They get staggered, and then this guy, he's going to refill my shields most of the time. Hey, wait, is this working? Nope. Uh, yeah, and he's going to refill my shields most of the time. And so, like, this isn't the tankiest build. Like, I have a lot of health, but, like, it's not particularly tanky because, you know, I don't have a lot of armor. Basically, you know, I have, like, 600 armor when I have my iron renewal. But it doesn't really matter too much because, you know, I get that
As
good
you
crowd
conquer the
control.
foe, so you conquer yourself.
So if someone has a higher strength Nourish, it's like, you know, I'm technically getting more raw damage, but I'm losing out on status. As you saw, status like really rules with this build. So I'm getting less status. I'm I'm, I'm getting less status spreading from the range, and I'm getting less crowd control. So big problem with North is that, you know, it's like the in a way the big problem with North is that it is such a popular ability that like, well, I wouldn't say the problem isn't that it's a popular ability. The problem is that like another Nourish can ruin your Nourish, and that problem is just made worse by the fact that it's a popular ability because uh, what's it called? Uh, oh yeah, it's made worse by the fact that it's popular ability because you're likely to encounter another Nourish, right? Also, it's related to something that I'm actually going to make a video about tomorrow. I'll talk a little bit about it here.
Excellent
So,
arguments, operator. Please return
same way how
covered
Nourish
in
is
blood.
ruined by the,
Safe and sound.
well, it's tangentially related to what I was gonna make a video about tomorrow. So, tomorrow's video is going to be about why I think Oberon is unpopular. And the perfect frame for comparison is Necros here. So I'm going to be showcasing a couple of Necros builds, comparing them to my Oberon builds, and I'm going to explain why I think Oberon is unpopular despite thinking that he is a really good frame. You know, I think those are two very compatible things, and like, I'll explain in more detail tomorrow, but you know, the thing I was sort of thinking about when I was thinking about Norse is like how Necros' popularity kind of ruins Oberon because of like the renewal drain. Um, I think I remember my first episode was with my Airburst build. You know, I'll explain in the next video. um, I should really just go now. But yeah, look forward to that tomorrow. I'll explain it properly then.